Hello, beautiful souls. We are talking about self love and self care in quarantine, beyond the quarantine, and in the new normal, which is a very strange new situation in which we don't necessarily know where we fit, but we are getting there. We are learning and we are really finding ways to adapt. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about because we've learned a lot from this whole pandemic situation. But one of the biggest lessons that we've learned is how adaptable we are. When you think about it, this whole situation was completely unpredictable. It was unexpected. It was so huge and it affected the whole planet, really. And no one was prepared for it. No country was prepared, and no country had anything in place to deal with something like that. And yet, everyone did their best, and people adapted very quickly and very proactively. Most people really heeded the security guidelines. Everyone was very careful to protect their own health, their families, and the community. And people found very creative ways of helping people. People have been shopping for those who couldn't leave their homes. People have been making masks. People have been finding ways to communicate with people, to work from home, to reorganize a certain number of things in a different way. And it's huge. It's huge. And we realize that we can do it. And normally we don't all work together. We don't feel the need, or we don't want to do anything together. Our world used to be very ego-centered, very individualistic, very, very, very selfish. And it's a paradox, really, because we have been reminded that we need to take better care of ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and we have been more careful. But when you become more self-reliant, you also start to respect everyone else a lot more, because you can, because you are stronger, because you don't feel the need to be so clingy, to be so selfish, because you don't need people to look after you. You are already doing it. So you can afford to be more generous. And that's what self-care is all about. It's not just about you. It's good for you, of course, but it makes you a better person as well. It makes you more able to help everyone around you. And that's what we've been doing. We've been looking after ourselves. We've been eating differently, sleeping more because we had to stay home, and the time we didn't spend in our cars or on the bus, on the train, we could afford to spend more time resting, relaxing. And because we became stronger physically, emotionally, we have been more creative, we have been more generous, we have been kinder. Not everyone, but so many people have been reacting positively, and so many people have taken this opportunity for learning, growing, evolving very seriously, and have made the most of it. So I think it's wonderful, and we can be proud of ourselves, because we as a group, as a whole, we are evolving in a positive direction. We are really, really making good changes, and it's not over. There is still a lot that needs changing in our culture, in our society, but we're getting there. We are realizing that we can have a huge impact, and that every person can have an impact, even if it seems very small. So we can be proud of ourselves. And another thing that we have learned is how much people matter. The people that we take for granted, our relatives, our friends, the people that we used to see every day, and that suddenly we can't because we have to stay home and they have to stay home. And it makes you realize how important they are, how much we need this connection, how much we need each other, how much we need to feel that we belong to a group. And there are many things and many people that we never thought about, and that suddenly we learn to rediscover, to cherish, to protect. And it's beautiful, really. And the same is true with ourselves. We have learned an awful lot about ourselves, how we think, how we react, what we feel. And it's beautiful too, because it might guide us, it might help us make the right choices now. Because I know, I for one, I've realized that I'm a different person than I thought, and that the choices I made 6 months ago were no longer relevant today. So I'm doing things differently, I'm making different choices, I'm adapting, and I'm evolving. And many of my friends are the same, because when you are pushed beyond your comfort zone, you are forced to evolve. And it's not very nice, it's not very pleasant at first, but when you realize how much you have done, how much you have learned, how much you have changed, it's good and it's empowering. So I think on the whole we can be very optimistic, and we have to think big, because we are starting to realize how much we can do, how much of a change we can really make right now. And it's important and it's necessary, because to be honest, the way we used to live was not satisfactory for many people. You used to hear so many people complaining all the time, and yet they were not doing anything about it, because it's always more comfortable to keep what you know instead of jumping into the unknown. And when you are forced to make a change, in the end you're very happy that you had to do it. So that's what's happening now. It's scary. We don't know what the future might bring, but we can create it day after day after day. We can work at creating a better future, and I think many of us are already doing it now. So well done, and stay tuned, take care, and enjoy the ride, because it's a very exciting adventure. Bye.